Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we're going to be doing a video that's actually inspired by Jaclyn here on YouTube. I know she's not the one who started the trend, but she's the last person I saw do it recently. I know that Casey Holmes has done this before too, but basically it is a video of nothing new makeup wise. So I've used a bunch of products that I really like, but are not things that are recent launches. Everything from my primer to like eyeshadow, everything is just stuff that has been around for a little while. That way if you guys have it, or if you bought it a while ago and you still have it in your collection, then you know, you can bust it out and join along. But I hope you guys enjoy this video and enjoy this concept. And let's go ahead and get started. Okay guys, so we are starting out with a completely fresh face. I've already done my skincare. We're good to go. And I've actually already laid out most of like my base products for my skin, so we can like get through this kind of quickly. So I actually have this in a sample size and it's pretty dirty because it's been at the bottom of my drawer because I haven't used it in a while. But this is the Benefit POREfessional, basically like a silicone based primer, but it has like a little bit of a tan color which is translucent once you put it on. But this is like such an OG primer and so many people love this primer so much. So I'm just putting this on my nose and like my cheek area, which is where I have like a little bit of texture, a little bit of like pores showing through. Normally when I put makeup on you can't really tell, but like so many people love that primer. It just was never one that I was like, oh, like my favorite, you know. And then I'm gonna go in with the e.l.f. Lit From Within primer. I was using this all the time when I first started this channel, and you know, you just like get caught up in like the excitement of new products, and you know, sometimes you just don't go for the things you normally love. So this is a super hydrating, almost like lotiony feeling primer, and I love it. It honestly does leave your skin feeling so nice and hydrated and luminous, but not in like a greasy way at all, or like a, I don't even know how to describe it. Honestly, it just feels really nice and it leaves your skin feeling like ready for makeup, you know? So you can still get this, and I believe it retails for like $8. I really like it though. And so I'm gonna go in with my e.l.f. sponge just because it's one I've been kind of using for a while. I don't think it's new though at all. I mean, I guess newer in the grand scheme of things, but anyway, I'm going to go in with my Born This Way foundation in the shade Natural Beige. This foundation is new to me because I recently purchased it, but it's not a new foundation. Like, it's been on the market for so long. And yeah, I was kind of debating on what foundation to go in with because like the one that like is always been my OG foundation, the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless foundation, like that was so my go-to like all through high school and just like in life. That was like one of my favorite foundations for so long. It really took me a long time to like venture away from it because it was like, that was my foundation, you know what I mean? That's like the only foundation I've ever had a relationship with like that, you know, that was like, that was mine. But anyway, this is a pretty full coverage foundation. You can see that like I had a little bit of redness, and it just covers it right up. I guess it'd be more like medium to buildable if I'm being honest, but it has really good coverage because like, look at this red spot right here. And it's gone. Like, it really does. And I still need to build it up a little more on my cheeks because I probably only went in with like maybe half a pump so far. Like, I literally just went in with like this much on my face so far. So I'm going to finish blending this out and then we will jump straight into concealer. Okay, so we are a little closer, and it's because I wanted to show you guys this product and also like how I use it. But this is the NYX Wonder Stick, and I think they only have one shade, so it's like the universal shade. On one end it has like a little contour baby, a little stick right here. I've used quite a bit of it, you can see. And then it has this like highlight side, which I've never actually really used. It's just, it doesn't really do much for me. But I do really like this contour side to contour my nose. And like once I figured out how to contour my nose with a cream, this is what I used. So I still do the basic outline of how I like my nose to look. Well, I do a lot underneath because I want my nose to be cut shorter than it is. And then I kind of leave, like, you see that little dot that I left blank? I leave that like that so that like I can like highlight that little spot. And then I'm just going in with like a short little like fluffy but dense brush, I guess. It's more like a concealer brush. But basically this is the brush that I used to use all the time to do this with. And I actually don't have a link for it or anything because I got it so long ago that I don't have a clue where I got this brush. But basically what I do first is just kind of blend it into my nose. And like you can see that I haven't gone in with concealer yet, and that's because I'm going to bring my concealer up on the sides and just like make sure everything looks really blended. So I know my nose looks freaking orange right now, but it comes together, I promise. So I'm going to go in with my foundation sponge and just pat over it. And like honestly it comes together once you do concealer and highlight and everything. But yeah, that's a really good little product if you want to cream contour. I had gotten pretty good at it, and I think last time what I was doing when I did it was actually went into the product with my like brush and then went into my nose rather than like go straight in. But honestly it's been so long since I've done a cream contour that it's kind of even hard to remember like what I used to do. But that's beside the point. I just really loved that product for that at the time, and it's not a new product, and it's just a really good like OG product. But next, let's talk about another OG. This is the Tarte Shape Tape. I'm sure you guys have heard of this. Like, I don't know who hasn't heard of this product in particular. But it is a high-end concealer, and like I reach for it every now and then because like I have it, I want to use it, and I want to use it up. But there's absolutely no need to, because there's so many dupes for it now. Like when it first came out, it was like it changed the game, but now obviously like you can get this type of concealer anywhere. So basically what I used to do was bring up the concealer on the side of my nose. So I'm actually going to finish blending my concealer off camera, because every time I blend my concealer out I end up like having to look down to do it. But as soon as I do that, I always go ahead and set. And this is like, once I discovered this powder a few years ago, like the makeup game changed for me. This is the Fit Me Loose powder, and it comes in this like little square packaging, and I just apply it with a powder puff. But I'm gonna do all this stuff and I'll be right back so we can get into the rest of the skin. Okay, so you can see that I laid on the powder kind of heavy in my nose area and under my eyes. I kind of always do that because my eyes crease and my nose is oily, so that's where I bake. But yeah, if you guys haven't tried this powder yet, get on the bandwagon. It's really good. It has a little bit of coverage, but not too much, and they do have a few different shades. So yeah, like it's the one I just keep repurchasing over and over again since I bought it. But next, just to set the rest of my face a little bit, is and this is a great powder. Like literally, it's very sturdy as well. Like I've tossed it in my backpack and carried it around with me like all of my senior year and of undergrad, and it's just a good powder to carry. So yeah, it's just like a nice little touch-up powder, but I'm basically using it right now to press into my skin and make sure that everything is set. Also, I like to take it down my neck as well, make sure that like kind of to blend out anything harsh like that as well. But yeah, it took me a while to get like on the Wet n Wild bandwagon when it came to like face products, but they're good. Like they're really good. I haven't tried Wet n Wild's stick foundation, but I've heard people who like it like really like it. I'm not the biggest fan of like stick foundations, you know what I mean? So I don't think that, no way that I like try it, I'm gonna like it. So I want to kind of go ahead and finish working on the face before we move on to eyes and brows and stuff like that. And so I just want to talk about some like face products that I have been loving for quite a few years now and just genuinely enjoy. So the first thing is the butter bronzer. I still use this all the time. Particularly I use this one to contour my nose, which I'll show you guys how I do it as well. Because I feel like the other contour, because I did it the way that I did and blended it out so much, I feel like it almost got lost underneath. But you can see like that looks a little bit more intense. But either way, I don't like a super harsh contour, and I personally think it's easier, less like of a hassle, and just looks better at the end of the day to just use a powder. But if you want to get into like cream contouring, I do really recommend that NYX Wonder Stick. It's just really good. It's a really creamy formula. But I absolutely love this bronzer for my face. It is not a totally matte bronzer, but it has like the slightest bit of sheen to it. And at first I didn't love the idea of this bronzer because they didn't have that many shades of it. But now they've come out with deeper shades, and it's just a really good bronzer overall. Next, I'm going to do a little bit of contouring with my NYX Highlight and Contour Pro palette. This is just a great palette overall. I don't contour too much anymore. Like, I don't use deeper shades to contour like this. I kind of just stick to bronzing. But if you want to get into contouring and you're on a budget, this is a great place to start because it's a good palette and it's like, it blends really, really nicely. It's got a good color selection. It does a little bit of everything. The brush that I'm using, and the reason I'm using it, by the way, is the Morphe Y9. And it's just, I like this dome shape because I feel like it gives a softer contouring effect, but it's still precise enough that I can get like right in this area of my cheeks. Okay, so next I'm gonna highlight my nose, and I'm gonna go in with my, this is a Holy Grail product, and I actually stopped using it because I loved it so much that I was hitting pan and it made me so incredibly sad. So I stopped using it because it was like a baby to me. But this is the That Glow Kit from Anastasia. They do a lot of glow kits. They have a newer one that's like a marshmallow one or something, and I don't know if it's limited edition or what. But that one came out a while ago and I think they still have it. Anyway, so I used to love the shade Bubbly and Sunburst to highlight my nose. They were like my go-tos. Like seriously, my favorite nose highlights. I felt like they were just really pretty and subtle enough. Okay, so then I used to do this a lot, but the shade Golden Bronze for me, like obviously was too dark to be a highlight, but I would just take it and like lightly go over my bronzer and it would just make my skin look really glowy. And you can do this with any other bronzer that's like shimmery, but I do it with a dual fiber brush. This one's from Wet n Wild, and literally I would just like go ham, and it would just be such a nice transition for my blush and highlight, and it just leaves you looking super bronzy and like pretty. And yeah, so this is a really cute little bronzer or highlight palette. I used to use it a lot. If you guys have been watching me for a while, you know I do this. I like to take my sponge, my damp sponge, and then just go over my cheeks and where I'm gonna highlight, which is nearly all of my face. And then I like to take a more medium toned highlight, so something like this instead of super white. Kind of do like a soft highlight everywhere. I normally do this with my Wet n Wild highlight, and that one is in the shade Precious Petals. That one actually I feel like ends up coming off more intense, but this one's very soft, and like this whole palette, like the way that it highlights is very soft and luminous without like being glittery. So I don't really have an OG blush for you guys except for probably Luminoso, because it was just like that. This is the first blush I ever bought myself, okay? Like and I think the reason that I even got into it was because of Jaclyn Hill, which I'm sure most people did. She was such an influential person. But yeah, Luminoso is such a good one, and I got it because I wasn't huge on blush, but I was really big on highlight, and it was a very luminous formula. You can see like just how luminous it is. So now I go for more of a like colorful blush rather than, like, you can see it doesn't do so much. It adds a lot of luminosity though. You know, my tastes for blush has definitely changed, but this is still such a good one that I can't not talk about it. Also, I wanted to share this palette with you guys. It has a little bit more, I personally believe that it's a little bit more intense than the Anastasia one, but this is the BH Cosmetics Spotlight palette, and it comes with 6 colors instead of the 4 that the other one did. And it actually has a mirror, which I stepped on mine, so yay me. That's just lovely. But I do feel like this palette is just slightly more intense than the other one. And so I'm going to go ahead and highlight like the tops of my cheeks with this. I'm going to go with the shade Dream and the shade Glow. Oh god, you see that? This is like quite the intense formula. Oh no, that is so intense. God, I haven't used this one in a minute, so I kind of didn't know what to expect anymore. And girl, we gotta blend that out. This is definitely interesting because I feel like I'm trying products in my collection that I haven't reached for in a while. So even if you guys, obviously, like, even if you don't have a YouTube channel or you don't do any kind of like posting about makeup, I recommend that you go into your like makeup collection and pick out all things that you don't use like anymore, that are new, and like just old products that you used to love, and just see if you still like them. Because like honestly, this is a highlight that I would use literally probably only on my nose and my inner corners, but I like a different kind of highlight for my cheeks now. And it's just not one that I like. Those palettes are not ones that I gravitate towards so much anymore. So I'm actually gonna go with my like regular brow products because they're not new products and they're just that good that I've kept using them for a long time, and they're like repurchases and stuff. So the Wet n Wild brow pencil is really good and super affordable. The brush that I use is from e.l.f. and then the pomade is the ABH pomade in the shade of dark brown. So I'm just gonna do like my regular brows off camera, but I did want to share the products that I use with you guys if you were curious. Okay guys, so it actually took me quite a bit to figure out what palette I was gonna use because I have a drawer full of them. And there are some that I used more that weren't new, but I wanted to play with something that isn't new but that I haven't touched in a long time just for the sake of it. And I ended up grabbing the Jaclyn Hill Morphe Vault Collection palette in Ring the Alarm, which looks like this. It's a more wearable one that she came out with, and in my like searching through them to find that one, I discovered that I broke one of them. Look at this. She's all shattered and sad, and there's glass, and I mean, good thing it wasn't like my favorite one. I think Ring the Alarm probably is my favorite. But still, anytime a palette breaks on me, it's pretty sad. But anyway, I did want to talk about this real quick. So to prime my lid, I used the Wet n Wild PhotoFocus Concealer. It's just a good concealer. I use the shade Light Honey. Then we can go ahead and get into the eye makeup. So first, I'm going to go in with the shade Rush right here. It's the lightest orange in the palette, and that is going to be my transition shade. So I'm actually, because it's quite a dark shade that I normally wouldn't use for transition, I am going to start using it like right in the base of my eye right here, the crease, and then kind of smoke it out with very little product left on my brush, because that is pretty much the only way that I was able to like see that I would be able to use this one palette for my eyes. So I'm just using like nice broad windshield wiper motions, and then when I feel like I've diffused it enough, I will pick up some more and diffuse again. You guys have seen me do this a million times, just like diffuse a color into the crease. It's just like a really good technique just to go back and forth in those little windshield wiper motions. And then with the excess, I'm going to take it into the inner corner. So then when it looks like nice and blown out and soft like that, I will go in with the same color but a little bit more of a dense brush. So I'm still using the shade Rush, which is that lighter orange, and just going to pack it on, make sure that it builds up to the way that I want, because this is going to be our transition shade. Okay, so when it kind of looks like this, and it looks like it's been built up nice and good, I will switch brushes. So this is a very similar brush, but it's just not the same one. It angles a little differently. I'm gonna jump from this shade Rush to this shade Mugshot, which is like a brownie kind of color. It's still orange, but it's like the darkest orange in the palette. I will say though, they're not like the most buttery eyeshadows. Like the mattes are not the most buttery that I've ever used, but they do go really nicely on the eye. Like they blend out easily and everything. I know there was a lot of like, when this palette first came out, when all of these came out, there was a lot of controversy, but I never had an issue with mine, and I was like one of the first people to order them. So I'm going to place this shadow on the base of my eye right here on the outer, like third outer corner there, and then I'm just going to take the same brush and diffuse that shade upward. And then you guys know I do this all the time, but I'm just going to grab a previous brush, pick up extra color if I have to, and diffuse any harsh lines I might see. Okay, so then I'm going to go in with the shade Secret, which is the dark brown in this palette. It's super warm and very dark for a brown. And I'm going to pack this again on that same outer third area, and then I'm going to take it up just a little into the crease. And then I'm going to go back in with my previous brush, which had the shade Mugshot on it. Okay, and then I'm going to cut my crease using the same shadow, or the same concealer that I used to prime, which is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus one. And I'm just going to carve out the inner corner of my eye really quick off camera. Okay, so this is what it looks like just with that concealer on there and my crease nice and cut. And then I'm going to go in with the shade Boom right here. It's like a very nice coppery shimmer shade. I was actually debating on going in with the shade on camera, which is the gold. But this one just seemed a little more appropriate. So I'm just going to pick that up with a flat definer brush and start packing it on. Also guys, there are loads of palettes that have similar shades like this. So if you don't have this palette, don't go out and buy it. It's good. They're all good. But seriously, there are so many palettes right now that unless you're like a huge Jaclyn Hill fan, this is nothing extraordinary. I just figured I'd throw that in there for you guys. So then when I kind of have packed it on to the best of my abilities, as close to the, I guess, like line that I've drawn there, you see how it's like not quite touching, I take a little bit of a setting spray. I'm going to use the NYX Bare With Me spray, and I just make sure to wet my brush just so I can get really close. And then I like to kind of fade it out to the outer corner and just like press. And then I'm going to go back in with a little bit of the shade Secret, which is that really dark brown we used out here in the outer corner. So that is the lid all done, and now I'm going to quickly do my lower lash line. And basically all I did was use the shade Mugshot and this brush from Luxie, which is like, I love this kind of brush for my lower lash line. It just kind of fits perfectly, and it just gets like one shade in there all over the place. You see how it like fits perfectly and just diffuses that shade right where I need it. So then I'm going to throw on some wing liner. I'm actually not going to do this on camera because I feel like it will take me forever, but you can see there. I love this liner. This is the NYX matte liner, and it's just like a really great liquid liner. So I'm going to apply this and apply some falsies really quick. The falsies I'm going to use today are these right here. They are from AliExpress, and they're in the style A12. I have a whole video on like how I buy my lashes and where I get them from, but I get them from the website AliExpress. Okay guys, so eyes are done, face is done. Normally I show you guys what my eye makeup looks like without lashes, and I completely forgot to do that today, but I will close my eye the best I can. But this is just like a classic look I used to do a lot, and I kind of like have gone away from like really warm tones for my eye makeup, and I've kind of gone more neutral lately, and it's really nice to see myself in like these warm colors again. So I'm gonna do a lip real quick, and for that I'm gonna use the Sephora gel lip liner in the shade Rouge. Actually no, they're the Rouge gel lip liners, sorry. And mine is in the color Nothing But Nude. This was like my favorite lip liner for so long. I can't tell you guys what it smells like exactly, but the smell to me is like nostalgic because I used to wear it so much. I actually wore this for my graduation last year. And then I'm going to go with the Fenty Gloss Bomb. Fenty in general is like a pretty new brand, but they're so good, and their products have been around for a little while now, and I feel like I can include this in here. Oh, so nice. This color literally is my favorite. It's the Gloss Bomb in Fenty Glow. It's like the first one she came out with. I'm going to go in with two setting sprays today. The first is just like a nice little mist. It is the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist Spray. This has been around for a while, and it's a really great setting spray. And then of course, to lock everything, make sure it doesn't move in this Georgia heat, I'm going to use the Milani Make It last. Okay guys, so this is the finished look using all old products, things that I love and have used and keep in my collection, but are not recent releases. And I think that's important because like we all accumulate makeup that we love and then we forget about every now and then. So yeah, I thought it'd be really cool to do this video. I don't know, it's not something I exactly thought I would be doing, but I saw Jasmine here on YouTube do it. Her channel is @JuicyJazz, and I loved the idea, so I figured I would do it as well. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button down below, subscribe and share, and I will see you guys all in my next video.